Ji-woo Park stepped off the transport ship with her heavy toolkit in one hand and her contract datapad in the other. She looked around the massive docking bay of Stellar Station Omicron 7 and felt very small. The station was huge, bigger than any building she had ever seen on Earth. Aliens of all shapes and sizes walked past her, speaking in languages that buzzed and clicked and hummed. She was here to fix atmospheric processors. It was a simple 3-week job that would pay enough to clear her student loans. After that, she could go home and start her real career. Ji-woo adjusted her old gray jumpsuit and looked at the signs, trying to find the engineering department dot. Before she could take 3 steps, someone grabbed her arm. Ji-woo turned and saw a tall alien with 4 arms and purple skin. The alien's face had 3 eyes that blinked at different times. Finally, "You're here," the alien said through a translator device on its chest. The voice sounded stressed and tired. "We've been waiting for hours. Come quickly, there's no time to waste." "Wait, I think there's been a mistake," Ji-woo started to say, but the alien wasn't listening. The creature pulled her through the crowded corridors so fast that Ji-woo could barely keep up. Her toolkit banged against her leg with every step. They arrived at a huge room filled with tables and chairs of different sizes. The smell hit Ji-woo first. It was a mixture of burned food, strange spices, and something that smelled like old socks. This was the station cafeteria. Aliens sat at tables, eating from bowls and plates. Some looked happy, but most looked like they were forcing themselves to swallow their food. "Here's your apron," the 4-armed alien said, shoving a white cloth at Ji-woo. "I'm Tikmora, the station administrator. You need to start right away. The lunch service begins in 20 minutes. "But I'm not," Ji-woo tried again. Yes, I know you're nervous." The last worker ran away, but don't worry about that incident with the RAV diplomats. Just follow the recipes exactly as written in the datapad. Tikmora pushed a digital tablet into Ji-woo's hands. "Remember, each species has different dietary needs. Mixing them up could kill someone. No pressure." Ji-woo's eyes went wide. "Kill someone? Wait, I need to explain. The kitchen is through that door. The staff will show you everything. Good luck." Tikmora rushed away before Ji-woo could say another word. Ji-woo stood there, holding an apron and a datapad, completely confused. She looked at the kitchen door, then at her toolkit, then back at the door. This was ridiculous. She was an engineer, not a cook. Well, her grandmother had taught her to cook Korean food back on Earth, but that was different. That was normal Earth food, not alien food that could kill people. She decided to go into the kitchen and find someone who could fix this mistake. Maybe there was a supervisor who would listen to her. The kitchen was chaos. Steam rose from huge pots. Strange creatures rushed back and forth, carrying trays and ingredients. The equipment looked nothing like Earth kitchens. There were machines with too many buttons, containers filled with things that glowed or moved, and one pot that seemed to be floating in midair. A small, shaking alien with gray skin and big eyes approached her. "You're the new cook?" It squeaked. "I'm Pike and Ash. I'm so glad you're here. We're so short-staffed. Please, can you start on the Quellen protein bowls? They need to be served in exactly 42 minutes or the proteins become toxic." "Toxic?" Ji-woo repeated. Everything in this kitchen seemed to be toxic. Yes. And the Ravian warriors need their meat cooked at exactly 847 degrees. Too hot and it releases poison gas. Too cold and they'll complain for hours. Pike and Ash handed Ji-woo a strange curved knife. "Do you know how to use the thermal blade?" Ji-woo looked at the knife. It was humming and glowing slightly. She had no idea what to do with it. "Listen, there's been a big misunderstanding. I'm not a cook. I'm an engineer. I'm here to fix the atmospheric processors. Pike and Ash stared at her. What? But Tikmora said, and we need... Oh no. The little alien started shaking harder. We can't handle another incident. Last week, I accidentally mixed up the sulfur paste with the carbon gel, and 3 diplomats had to go to the medical bay. If we mess up again, they'll close the whole cafeteria. Please, can't you just help for today? Ji-woo felt bad for the scared creature. She looked around the kitchen at the overwhelmed staff. She checked her datapad for her engineering schedule. Her supervisor wouldn't arrive until tomorrow anyway. Maybe she could help for 1 meal service and then clear up this confusion. Okay, she said slowly. Just 1 meal service. Then I need to talk to Tikmora and fix this mistake. Pike and Ash looked so relieved that Ji-woo thought the alien might cry. Thank you. Thank you. Here, the recipes are all in the station database. Just follow them exactly. Ji-woo tied on the apron and looked at the recipe datapad. The screen was filled with words and languages she didn't recognize. She tapped the translator function. The words changed to English, but they still didn't make much sense. Take 3 units of crystallized methane and combine with pressure-boiled hydrogen paste. What did that even mean? She looked at the ingredients lined up on the counter. There were jars of glowing liquids, boxes of things that looked like rocks, and containers of what might be meat or might be vegetables. She honestly couldn't tell. The clock on the wall showed 15 minutes until lunch service. Aliens were already gathering outside the cafeteria doors. Ji-woo could hear them talking and complaining about the food quality. She took a deep breath. She was an engineer. Engineers solve problems. Cooking was just chemistry and heat management, right? She had degrees in both. How hard could this be? She picked up a jar labeled Quellin Protein Base and immediately dropped it. The jar was ice cold, so cold it hurt to touch. She grabbed a thermal glove from the wall and tried again. Inside the jar was a blue jelly that moved on its own. Okay, Ji-woo said to herself. This is fine. Everything is fine. I can do this. She couldn't do this. 10 minutes later, she had somehow managed to set off 3 different alarms, create a small explosion of purple foam, and make something that smelled so bad that 2 of the kitchen staff ran out crying. The floating pot fell from the air and spilled green soup everywhere. Pike and Ash looked at the mess and then at Ji-woo. Maybe we should just serve the emergency rations today? Ji-woo wanted to agree, but she saw the long line of hungry aliens outside. They looked tired from their work. They deserved a good meal. She thought about her grandmother's words. Cooking is about caring for people. No, Ji-woo said. Give me 5 more minutes. I think I understand the equipment now. She didn't understand the equipment, but she was going to figure it out, even if it killed her. Or someone else. Hopefully not someone else. 3 days had passed, and Ji-woo was still in the cafeteria kitchen. She had tried to leave. She really had. But every time she went to find Tikmora to explain the mistake, something went wrong. The translator would break. Tikmora would run away to handle some emergency. Or worse, aliens would start thanking her for the food. That was the strange part. The food was getting better. Not at first. The first day had been a disaster. Ji-woo had served something that made a group of blue aliens turn orange. They weren't hurt, just very confused and very orange. But she had learned from each mistake. Ji-woo discovered that alien cooking was a lot like engineering. Each ingredient had properties, like materials in construction. Each cooking method was just applied physics. The floating pot? It used magnetic fields. The thermal blade? Just a controlled plasma cutter. Once she stopped thinking of it as cooking and started thinking of it as a chemistry lab, things made more sense. She also found the real engineering supervisor. His name was Woo Jin Choi, and he was the only other human on the station. He was 50 years old, with gray hair and a permanent frown. When Ji-woo finally tracked him down to explain the situation, he just laughed. "So you're the engineer who became a cook?" Woo Jin said, eating something from the cafeteria that looked like purple noodles. "I heard about you. The whole station is talking about it. Can you please tell Tikmora that I'm supposed to be working with you?" Ji-woo asked. "I already did," Woo Jin said with a shrug. "They logged your name wrong in the system. Says you're a nutritional technician, which is fancy talk for cook. They'll fix it eventually, but the bureaucracy here takes forever. Could be weeks. Weeks? But your contract is still good. The atmospheric processors can wait a few more days. They're not critical yet." He pointed his fork at her. "Besides, you're doing good work here. The food actually tastes like food now. Last month, everything tasted like burnt plastic." Ji-woo wanted to argue, but more aliens came in for the afternoon meal service. She sighed and went back to the kitchen. Over the next few days, Ji-woo developed a system. She treated each meal like an engineering project. She made lists. She organized the ingredients by their chemical properties. She even created a chart showing which species could eat what. Pike and Ash watched her work with admiration. "You're so organized," the little alien said. "The last 3 cooks just guessed at everything." "Guessing is how people die," Ji-woo replied, checking the temperature on a pot of something that bubbled angrily. In engineering and in cooking, she also started experimenting. The recipe database was full of boring, safe meals. Everything was bland because the previous cooks were afraid of making mistakes. But Ji-woo understood the science now. She knew which flavors would work together based on their molecular structure. She began adding small changes to the recipes. For the Ravian warriors, she modified their meat dish by adding a spice that reminded her of gochugaru from home. The compound was similar enough that it wouldn't hurt them, but it added flavor. The first Ravian to try it was a huge creature named Coulter. He had dark red skin, 4 arms like Tikmora, and tusks that came out of his mouth. Coulter took one bite and stopped. His eyes went wide. Ji-woo held her breath. Had she poisoned him? Then Coulter roared with laughter. This is courage food. It reminds me of my mother's cooking on Ravia Prime." He ate the entire plate in seconds and came back for more. "You, human cook, you understand warrior food." After that, Coulter came to the cafeteria 3 times a day. He brought his friends. They all wanted the courage food. Ji-woo also helped a Quellan scientist named Veltira. The scientist had been having stomach problems from the station food. Ji-woo noticed that the standard Quellan meals were missing certain enzymes. She created a new dish using ingredients she found in a storage room. It was basically bibimbap, the Korean rice bowl her grandmother used to make, but with alien vegetables that had the right chemical properties. Veltira ate it carefully at first, then faster. "What is this?" she asked. "My digestive system feels better already." "Just vegetables and grains mixed together," Ji-woo explained. "The combination helps with digestion." Word spread fast on the station. More aliens started coming to the cafeteria. The lines got longer. Ji-woo had to train more of the kitchen staff to help her. She taught them her methods, showing them how to think about the science behind the cooking. One evening, after the dinner service ended, Ji-woo sat in the empty cafeteria with a cup of tea. She was exhausted. Her feet hurt. Her back ached. But she also felt good. People were eating well. They were happy. It was nice, even if it wasn't what she had planned. A young woman walked in. She was Korean, about Ji-woo's age, with short hair and a pilot's uniform. "Are you Ji-woo Park?" she asked. "Yes. Who are you?" I'm Dae-yoon. I pilot cargo ships between here and the inner stations. She sat down across from Ji-woo. I heard there was another Korean on the station. Had to come say hello. How long have you been here? Ji-woo asked. 6 months. My ship broke down, and I've been stuck here waiting for parts. Dae-yoon smiled. I eat here every day now. Your food is amazing. That spicy rice bowl you made yesterday? Best thing I've eaten since leaving Earth. They talked for an hour about home, about Earth, about how strange it was to live among aliens. Dae-yoon told her stories about different planets and stations she had visited. Ji-woo told her about the engineering work she was supposed to be doing. So you're not actually a cook? Dae-yoon laughed. That's the most human thing I've ever heard. Accidentally falling into a job and being better at it than the people who were supposed to do it. I'm not better, Ji-woo protested. I'm just trying not to kill anyone. Well, you're doing great. Much better than the last cook. That guy once served me something that made my hair fall out. It grew back, but still. They became friends after that. Dae-yoon would visit the cafeteria between her cargo runs, and they would talk in Korean while Ji-woo worked. It was nice to have someone from home to talk to. Woo-jin visited sometimes too, though he mostly came to complain about station maintenance. The air filtration system is acting up again, he told Ji-woo one day. I keep telling them we need to replace the old processors, but nobody listens. When do I start helping with that? Ji-woo asked. When the paperwork goes through. Could be next week, could be next month. He ate a spoonful of soup. This is good. What is it? Alien mushroom soup. Kind of like my yak-guk but with space mushrooms. Tastes like home, Woo-jin said quietly. Then he frowned, as if being happy made him uncomfortable. Don't get too comfortable here. Once the paperwork clears, you'll be back to engineering. But Ji-woo was starting to wonder if she minded being stuck here. The work was hard, but it was satisfying. She was helping people, and she was learning so much about different species, different cultures, different ways of living. Still, she missed engineering. She missed working with machines and systems. She missed the logic and precision of technical work. Cooking was creative, but it was also messy and unpredictable. One night, as she cleaned the kitchen after closing, Ji-woo made a decision. Tomorrow, she would march into Tikmora-'s office and demand they fix the paperwork. She would be polite but firm. She would insist on doing the job she was hired to do. But tomorrow never came. Because that night, everything on the station changed. Ji-woo woke up to the sound of alarms. Red lights flashed in her small quarters. The station's emergency system was announcing something in multiple languages, but her translator was still on her desk. She grabbed it and put it on just as the announcement repeated. Emergency. All personnel report to emergency stations. Hull breach in Docking Bay 7. Repeat. Hull breach in Docking Bay 7. She pulled on her jumpsuit and ran into the corridor. Other aliens were rushing around, some panicking, others moving with purpose. She found Dae-yoon in the hallway. What happened? Ji-woo asked. Cargo ship crashed during docking, Dae-yoon said, her face pale. Bad pilot error. The ship hit the bay at full speed, punched right through the outer wall. They ran toward the main corridor where crowds were gathering. Ji-woo saw Woo-jin pushing through the crowd with a toolkit. His face was serious. Woo-jin, Ji-woo called out. What can I do? He stopped and looked at her. Can you work on atmospheric processors? That's what I was hired to do. Good. The crash damaged the main air circulation system. 3 sectors are losing breathable air. I need help. He didn't wait for her to agree. He just turned and kept walking. Ji-woo followed. They arrived at the engineering deck. It was a mess. Screens showed red warnings everywhere. Wu Jin pulled up a schematic of the station on a large display. The atmospheric processors in sectors 12, 13, and 14 are failing, he explained quickly. The crash caused a power surge that fried their control systems. We have about 6 hours before those sectors become unbreathable. 8,000 people live in those sectors. Ji Wu looked at the schematic. She recognized the processor model. She had studied these in school. I can fix them. We need to fix all 3. I'll take sectors 12 and 13. You handle 14. Think you can do it alone? Ji Wu nodded. This was real engineering work. This was what she was trained for. Yes, for the next 4 hours, Ji Wu worked on the processor in Sector 14. The control board was completely burned out. She had to replace it with spare parts, rewiring everything by hand. Her fingers moved fast, connecting circuits and testing systems. She worked like she cooked now, with confidence and precision. She got the processor running again with an hour to spare. The airflow resumed in Sector 14. She contacted Wu Jin through her communicator. Sector 14 is operational, she reported. Good work, Wu Jin replied. I'm almost done with 13. 12 is back online already. Ji Wu felt proud. This was what she was good at. This was why she had studied engineering. She started to pack up her tools when another alarm sounded. This one was different. It was a chemical warning. She ran back to the engineering deck. Wu Jin was there with Tikmora and several other station officials. They were all looking at a screen that showed water analysis data. The numbers were bad. What's going on? Ji Wu asked. Tikmora's 3 eyes all looked worried. The crash ship was carrying industrial chemicals. Some of the containers broke open. The chemicals leaked into our water recycling system before we could stop them. How bad is it? Ji Wu looked at the analysis data. Her stomach dropped. The water contained a compound that was toxic to most species on the station. Not immediately deadly, but anyone who drank it would get very sick. We've shut down the water distribution, Wu Jin said. But thousands of people already drank the contaminated water this morning. The medical bay is starting to fill up with sick aliens. Can we filter it out? Ji Wu asked. Not fast enough, Tikmora said. Our water filtration system can clean the water, but it will take 3 days. We don't have enough emergency water supplies for 20,000 people for 3 days. A doctor in a white suit spoke up. She was a tall, thin alien with blue skin. The toxin causes severe dehydration and organ stress. We can treat the symptoms, but we don't have enough medicine for everyone who's been exposed. If we can't provide clean water or a way to neutralize the toxin, hundreds could die. The room went quiet. Ji Wu stared at the chemical formula on the screen. She had seen something like this before. Where? She closed her eyes and thought. Chemistry. Cooking. Ingredients. Her eyes snapped open. What if we could neutralize the toxin inside the body before it causes too much damage? Everyone looked at her. Tikmora spoke first. What do you mean? When I cook, I combine ingredients that react with each other. Some reactions neutralize harmful compounds. If we could identify the right combination of safe ingredients, we could create food that would bind with the toxin and make it harmless. The doctor shook her head. That would require knowing the exact biochemistry of 47 different species. The toxin affects each species differently based on their metabolism. I know the biochemistry, Ji Wu said. Everyone stared at her. From cooking, I've spent the last week learning how different species process different compounds. I have charts, data, everything. I had to learn it to avoid poisoning anyone. Wu Jin looked at her with surprise. You really think you can do this? Ji Wu thought about it. This was crazy. But maybe crazy was what they needed. I think so. The toxin is a sulfur-based compound. I've worked with similar compounds in the cafeteria. There are ingredients that could neutralize it. Different combinations for different species. Tikmora's 3 eyes blinked one at a time. This is highly irregular. So is a cargo ship crashing into our station? Jiwoo said. Do you have a better idea? Nobody did. Tikmora made a decision. Do it. You have access to all the cafeteria supplies and staff. The medical bay will share all data on the toxin and affected species. Whatever you need, you get it. Jiwoo ran back to the cafeteria with Daeyoon following her. You're going to cook your way out of a poison crisis? Daeyoon asked as they ran. I'm going to try. They burst into the kitchen. Pike and Ash was there, looking scared. Jiwoo, I heard about the water. What are we going to do? We're going to cook the biggest meal of our lives, Jiwoo said. She pulled up her charts on the kitchen datapad. I need every staff member here now. We're going to create specialized antitoxin meals for every species on this station. She started making lists. For the Ravians, she would combine their protein source with a sulfur-binding enzyme from deep-sea algae. For the Quellans, a mixture of crystallized minerals and acid-reducing grains. For humans like Woojin and Daeyoon, a simple soup based on traditional hangover remedies that her grandmother had taught her. The ingredients were different, but the principle was the same. The kitchen staff arrived. Jiwoo explained the situation. We need to prepare 50,000 meals in the next 12 hours. Different recipes for different species. Every meal must be perfect. If we get it wrong, people die. Some of the staff looked scared. Pike and Ash was shaking. But Coulthur appeared in the kitchen doorway. I heard you need help, human cook, the big Ravian warrior said. My friends and I will help carry food to the sick. More aliens appeared behind him. Veltira, the Quellan scientist. Dozens of regular cafeteria customers. They had all come to help. We'll distribute the food, Veltira said. You focus on making it. Jiwoo felt a wave of gratitude. She wasn't alone. She had a team. Okay, let's save some lives. She divided the kitchen into sections. Each section would prepare food for a different species group. She moved between them, checking temperatures, adjusting recipes, making sure everything was exactly right. This wasn't just cooking anymore. This was medicine. This was survival. The hours blurred together. Cook, check, adjust. Her hands moved automatically. Her mind calculated chemical reactions and cooking times. The kitchen filled with steam and strange smells as dozens of different dishes cooked at once. 6 hours in, the first batch was ready. They sent the food to the medical bay, where the sickest patients waited. Jiwoo held her breath, waiting for news. 30 minutes later, the doctor called. It's working. The patients who ate the food are showing improvement. Keep making more. Jiwoo almost cried with relief. But there was no time for emotions. They had thousands more meals to prepare. She got back to work. Jiwoo hadn't slept in 20 hours. Her eyes burned, her muscles ached, but she kept moving. The cafeteria had become a medical kitchen, producing antitoxin meals around the clock. The good news was that the treatment worked. Aliens who ate the specially prepared food recovered within hours. The bad news was that new cases kept appearing as more people discovered they had drunk contaminated water. She was checking a pot of Ravian stew when her communicator buzzed. It was Woojin. I need you in engineering. Now. Jiwoo looked at the busy kitchen. Pike and Ash was managing 3 cooking stations. Daeyoon was helping coordinate food distribution. Coulthur and his warrior friends were carrying meals to different sectors. They had a system now. They could handle things without her for a while. I'll be there in 10 minutes, she said. She found Woojin in front of a control panel that showed angry red warnings. His face looked tired and worried. "The atmospheric processors are failing again," he said. "The temporary repairs we made are breaking down. The systems are running too hot. If they shut down, we'll have the same air crisis we had before." Ji Woo looked at the temperature readings. They were way above safe levels. "Why are they overheating?" "The crash damaged more than we thought. The cooling systems aren't working properly. I can't get the temperature down." Wu Jin ran his hand through his gray hair. "The alien engineers say we need to shut down the processors and wait for replacement parts. But that means evacuating half the station." "How long would evacuation take?" 3 days minimum. And we still have thousands of people sick from the toxin. They can't be moved safely." Ji Woo studied the schematics. The processors were human-made, built on Earth 40 years ago. She remembered her professor talking about these models. They were over-engineered, built with huge safety margins, because humans always worried about worst-case scenarios. The safe operating temperature that was programmed into the system was much lower than what the processors could actually handle. "What if we didn't shut them down?" she asked. "They'll explode if they get too hot." "But what's too hot for the processors versus too hot for what the alien engineers think is safe?" Ji Woo pointed at the specifications. "Look at this. These processors were built to survive combat conditions. The actual failure temperature is much higher than the recommended operating temperature." Wu Jin looked closer at the specs. His eyes widened. "You're right. The aliens have been running them at 40% capacity because they thought that was the limit. But these things can handle much more. So we push them harder. We let them run hot. They can take it. That's against every safety regulation on this station." "So was using cafeteria food as medicine," Ji Woo said. "But it worked." Wu Jin smiled for the first time in days. "You're a dangerous woman, Ji Woo Park. Let's do it." They worked together, reprogramming the safety limits on the processors. The alien engineers protested, saying it was too risky. But Tikmora overrode them. "The humans understand human machines better than we do. Let them try." The processors roared to life at their new settings. The temperature climbed higher into ranges that made the alien engineers panic. But the systems held steady. The airflow improved throughout the station. The red warnings turned yellow, then green. "It's working," Wu Jin said. "The processors are stable." But they weren't done. Wu Jin showed Ji Woo another problem. The crash had damaged the main water pipes. Even after they cleaned the contaminated water, they couldn't distribute it properly. "Can we use the atmospheric system to distribute water?" Ji Woo asked. "What do you mean?" She pointed at the schematic. "The air circulation system reaches every part of the station. What if we increase the humidity in the air? People could use condensers to collect clean water. It's not much, but it might buy us time until the pipes are fixed." It was another crazy idea. But Wu Jin liked crazy ideas now. They modified the atmospheric processors to add moisture to the air. It worked. People started collecting condensed water from the walls and air vents. It wasn't a lot, but combined with the limited water supplies they had, it was enough. Ji Woo split her time between engineering and the cafeteria. In the morning, she would work with Wu Jin on station systems. In the afternoon and evening, she would supervise the anti-toxin food production. She slept in 3-hour shifts, usually on a cot in the cafeteria's back room. Dayun brought her coffee one evening. "You look terrible," she said. "Thanks," Ji Woo said, taking the coffee gratefully. "Seriously, you need to rest. You're going to collapse. I'll rest when this is over. You're not a superhero, you know." Ji Woo laughed tiredly. "I know. I'm just a cook who's pretending to be an engineer. Or an engineer pretending to be a cook. I'm not sure anymore." "You're both," Dayun said. "And you're saving lives. Just don't kill yourself doing it." The crisis continued for 3 more days. Ji-woo kept the atmospheric systems running, kept the anti-toxin food flowing, kept everything together with determination and very little sleep. The station staff started calling her the human who doesn't sleep. Some aliens thought humans didn't need sleep at all. Ji-woo was too tired to correct them. On the 4th day, Tikmora made an announcement. The water filtration was complete. The contaminated water was now clean. The pipes were repaired. Normal water distribution would resume. The crisis was almost over. Ji-woo was in the engineering bay when she heard the news. She sat down on the floor and felt all the exhaustion hit her at once. They had done it. Everyone was safe. Woojin sat down next to her. Good work, engineer. Good work yourself, grumpy old man. He laughed. You know, when you first got here, I thought you were just another young engineer who would quit after a week. But you're tougher than you look. I had a good teacher, Ji-woo said. My grandmother always said that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing right. Even if it's hard. Smart woman, your grandmother. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Woojin spoke again. There's going to be an investigation. The Galactic Trade Consortium is sending someone to review what happened. Is that bad? Could be. We broke a lot of rules. The atmospheric processors running hot, using untested medical treatments, all of it. Some bureaucrat is going to have questions. Ji-woo sighed. She had saved lives, but she had also ignored safety regulations and proper procedures. In engineering and in medicine, that was usually a crime. When do they arrive? Tomorrow. Great. Ji-woo closed her eyes. Can't I just have one day where nothing goes wrong? Welcome to space station life, Woojin said. Nothing ever goes right for long. That night, Ji-woo returned to the cafeteria. The kitchen staff had prepared a celebration meal. Nothing fancy, just good food and grateful friends. Coulter gave a toast in his booming voice. To the human cook who saved us all. To Ji-woo Park, the bravest warrior I have met. Everyone cheered. Even grumpy Woojin smiled. Ji-woo felt embarrassed, but also happy. These aliens had become her friends. This station had become her home, at least for now. But in the back of her mind, she worried about tomorrow. About the investigator. About what would happen when someone from the consortium looked at everything she had done. She had broken so many rules. She had taken risks that could have killed people. The fact that everything worked out didn't change that she had gambled with lives. She tried to enjoy the celebration, but the worry stayed with her. Tomorrow would bring answers. She just hoped they were good ones. Pyganash noticed her worried face. What's wrong? We won. Everyone is safe. An investigator is coming tomorrow. From the consortium. The little alien's eyes went wide. Oh no, consortium investigators are very strict. They don't care about results, only about rules. I know, Ji-woo said quietly. But you saved everyone. They can't punish you for that. Ji-woo wanted to believe that. But she had been an engineer long enough to know that bureaucracy didn't care about intentions. It only cared about procedures. And she had violated a lot of procedures. Thought she would face it tomorrow. For tonight, she would celebrate with her friends and try not to worry. But sleep didn't come easily that night. The investigator arrived exactly on time. His name was Siltorin, and he was of realm like Tikmora, but much more serious. He wore an official gray uniform with too many badges. His forearms carried different datapads, all showing reports and regulations. His 3 eyes never blinked at the same time, giving him a look of constant suspicion. Ji-woo met him in Tikmora's office, along with Woojin and several other station officials. Siltorin sat down and spread his datapads across the table. I have reviewed the preliminary reports, he said in a cold, formal voice. The number of violations is concerning. Atmospheric systems operated above safe limits. Unauthorized medical treatments distributed to thousands. Engineering work performed by someone registered as a nutritional technician. And most seriously, safety protocols ignored during a critical emergency. People were dying, Jiwoo said. We did what we had to do. Siltorn's three eyes focused on her. Rules exist for a reason, Miss Park. They protect people from dangerous decisions. What you call doing what you had to do, I call reckless endangerment. But everyone survived, Tikmora said nervously. No one died. The station is safe. The result does not justify the method, Siltorn replied. If I allowed every station to ignore regulations whenever they felt it was necessary, we would have chaos. The Galactic Trade Consortium cannot function without standards. He spent the next 3 hours interviewing everyone. He questioned Wu Jin about the atmospheric processors, asking why they violated the recommended operating temperatures. He questioned the medical staff about the antitoxin food, pointing out that it was never tested or approved. He questioned Jiwoo about everything, from why she didn't correct the cafeteria worker mistake immediately to why she thought she was qualified to make life or death decisions. Jiwoo answered honestly. She explained her thinking, her calculations, her reasons, but Siltorn didn't seem impressed. He just wrote notes on his datapads with all 4 hands at once. After the interviews, Siltorn announced he would tour the station and speak with residents. Jiwoo, Wu Jin, and Tikmora waited nervously in the office. This is bad, Tikmora said. Siltorn is known as the strictest investigator in the consortium. He once shut down a station for being 3% over capacity. We save lives, Wu Jin said angrily. Doesn't that count for anything? Not to him. He only cares about rules. Hours passed. Jiwoo tried to work in the cafeteria, but she couldn't focus. She kept thinking about what might happen. Would she lose her engineering license? Would she be banned from working on stations? Would there be criminal charges? Dayoon found her sitting in the empty cafeteria. Stop worrying. You're a hero. Everyone knows it. Heroes who break rules still get punished, Jiwoo said. Not if I can help it. Dayoon pulled out her communicator. I've been talking to people. We're organizing something. Before Jiwoo could ask what, alarms rang out. Not emergency alarms this time, but announcement chimes. A voice spoke over the station-wide intercom. Investigator Siltorn, please report to the main plaza immediately. Jiwoo and Dayoon ran to the plaza. What they saw made Jiwoo stop in her tracks. The plaza was filled with aliens. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Ravians, Quellans, humans, and dozens of other species. They all held signs written in different languages. Jiwoo's translator read them. Thank you, Jiwoo. The humans saved us. Heroes don't follow rules, they save lives. Coulter stood at the front with Valtira and Pycanash. When Siltorn arrived, looking surprised and annoyed, Coulter stepped forward. Investigator, the big warrior said in his booming voice. We are here to speak for Jiwoo Park. She saved my life. She saved all our lives. If you punish her, you punish everyone on this station who is alive because of her courage. Valtira spoke next. I am a scientist. I understand the importance of rules and procedures, but I also understand that sometimes survival requires new thinking. Jiwoo Park showed us that humans have a gift for solving impossible problems. One by one, aliens stepped forward to speak. The doctor from the medical bay testified about how the antitoxin food saved hundreds of lives. Engineers talked about how the atmospheric processor modifications prevented a catastrophic failure. Even Pycanash, usually so quiet and scared, spoke up about how Jiwoo had taught everyone in the cafeteria to think like scientists. Siltorn, listened to all of them with his 3 unblinking eyes. His face showed no emotion. When everyone finished speaking, he was quiet for a long moment. "This is highly irregular," he finally said. "I cannot make decisions based on emotional testimony." "Then make it based on data," Woojin said, stepping forward. He held up a datapad. "Here are the numbers. 0 deaths. 0 permanent injuries. Water system restored in half the projected time. Atmospheric systems running at 97% efficiency. Better than before the crisis. Those are facts, not emotions." Siltorin took the datapad and studied it. The plaza was silent. Jiwoo held her breath, and something unexpected happened. Siltorin's posture changed. He touched his side and winced. "I apologize. I feel unwell. Investigator?" Tickmore moved toward him. "What's wrong?" "I drank station water this morning, before I was informed of the recent contamination history. I think I may have consumed water that still had trace toxins." He sat down heavily on a bench. His skin color looked wrong. Jiwoo didn't think. She just acted. "Dayun, get me to the cafeteria kitchen, now." They ran. Jiwoo burst into the kitchen and started pulling ingredients. She knew what Vrellans needed. She had cooked for them dozens of times. She prepared a soup quickly, combining ingredients that would neutralize sulfur compounds in Vrellan biochemistry. It was the same principle she had used during the crisis, but adjusted for trace toxin amounts. She ran back to the plaza with the soup. Siltorin looked at it suspiciously. "What is this?" "Medicine," Jiwoo said. "The same kind that saved everyone else. It will neutralize the toxin in your system. This is not approved medical treatment." "No, it's not. But it works. You can refuse it and wait for the medical bay to treat you with approved methods. That will take several hours and you'll be very sick. Or you can trust me and feel better in 30 minutes. Siltorin stared at the soup, then at Jiwoo, then at all the aliens watching. He made a decision. He drank the soup. They waited. Everyone in the plaza watched the investigator. After 20 minutes, his color returned to normal. He stood up, looking surprised. "I feel better," he said. "Much better." "How did you?" "I understand biochemistry," Jiwoo said simply. "From cooking." Siltorin was quiet for a long time. Then he did something no one expected. He laughed. It was a strange sound, like rocks grinding together, but it was definitely a laugh. "You are remarkable, Jiwoo Park," he said. "You ignored regulations, violated protocols, and took risks that should never be taken. And yet, everything worked. Not just worked, but worked brilliantly." He looked around at the crowd. "I came here expecting to find criminal negligence. Instead, I found something I have rarely seen in my 30 years as an investigator. I found innovation. So, I'm not in trouble?" Jiwoo asked carefully. "Oh, you are definitely in trouble," Siltorin said. "The regulations you broke are serious. However, I am recommending to the consortium that they study your methods rather than punish them. What you did here, combining engineering knowledge with culinary science, using human over-engineering to solve critical failures, this is valuable. The consortium needs to learn from it." He pulled out an official datapad. "I am issuing an official commendation for Jiwoo Park for exceptional crisis management. I am also recommending that the consortium create new protocols based on what happened here. Sometimes the old rules need to change." The plaza erupted in cheers. Aliens rushed forward to congratulate Jiwoo. Coulter picked her up and spun her around, roaring with happiness. Pykenash cried tears of joy. Even Woojin smiled his rare smile. Later, in Tigmora-S office, Siltorin made his final report official. "The station is clear of all violations. No penalties will be applied. He looked at Ji Woo. I am also authorized to offer you several positions. The consortium would like you to work as a consultant for crisis management. Or you could stay here as head of engineering. Or you could run the cafeteria permanently. The choice is yours. Ji Woo thought about it. A month ago, she would have taken the engineering job without hesitation. That was what she had trained for, what she had planned. But now things were different. She had learned that she didn't have to choose just one thing. She could be an engineer and a cook. She could solve problems with math and with intuition. She could follow rules and break them when necessary. I appreciate the offers, she said. But I came here for a 3-week contract. I'd like to finish that contract and go home. Everyone looked surprised. You're leaving? Tikmora asked. For now. I need to rest. I need to see my family. I need to remember what normal life feels like. She smiled. But I'll come back. Maybe in a few months. Maybe as a consultant. Maybe just to cook a few meals and fix a few machines. The station will always welcome you. Tikmora said. Ji-Woo spent her last week on the station, finishing the atmospheric processor repairs properly. She also trained Pykenash to run the cafeteria using her methods. The little alien had gained confidence and was ready to lead. On her last day, the cafeteria threw a party.